All right, today we've got a doozy. Remember the guru from the documentary on Netflix, Wild Wild Country? Well, we have one of his sannyasins who stayed at one of his temples, not the one in Oregon, but the one in India, for 8 years. Yeah, there you have it. So once again, we decided to put the entire episode on YouTube instead of just the interview. So if we mention anything like weird, confusing stuff about YouTube, don't be alarmed. You know, we're still working out the kinks in the sound and everything like that. So yeah, thanks for hanging in there with us, and we're just going to keep getting better and better for you. So enjoy the episode.
Guys, hold on a second.
There's a difference in the mentality of country people and city people.
Okay, hold on. Christian women came into his room and they were freaking out about all the witchcraft stuff.
I used formulaic magic.
Doc, we don't know what you're talking about.
Hey, my anniversary's coming up. I want to make it really special.
In other words, how can a man save some money on Viagra? What would happen to you if you lived at a temple for 8 years? How would you change, and how would those change around you? Find out today on the Bravely Mistaken podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. This is Jordan O'Leary coming at you again. We've got a lady on who's lived at a temple, an Osho temple, actually. Osho temple, a temple, the charismatic gentleman from the film documentary Wild Wild Country, 8-part documentary series on Netflix. And yes, she lived at a temple in the main temple, not the one in Oregon, but the one in India for 8 years. This woman, 8 years. Astounding. Again, I am Jordan O'Leary. I am joined by none other than Angel Orlando, fresh from a Halloween party last night. Angel, welcome.
Good morning, my friend. Thank you. Good to be here.
I don't know what's going on. Your sound is actually kind of fucked up. Let's see. Check 1 2. Can you give me a check?
Check.
Now you're doing good. Okay. Fuck it. Let's just go. Angel, how you doing, buddy?
Good, man. Recovering from last night, but I'm hanging in there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you actually made it down there. You actually made you were debating whether to go because you live. How far was the actual? He's in LA, folks. How far was the actual Uber or?
So if I would have taken the Uber, it would have been about 2 hours. I decided to actually drive myself, just because it was only an hour, but still like an hour and some change. Halloween night, LA, going down the 5.
Yeah.
I mean,
hour and change. That's not bad.
No.
Way better. And you drove yourself.
Yeah, I decided just to drive myself. The Uber is going to be 2 hours, and then I don't know, man. Lately, I've been getting into Ubers, and the guy's like been passing out.
What? Really?
Yeah, dude, that's happened twice already.
Man, that's bad.
Yeah, I went on a date like, I don't know, what was that, like maybe 3 weeks ago, a month ago, something like that. And it was like 11 o'clock, and the guy was like just drifting the line. And then when I was in the desert this last weekend, I had a guy just totally pass out, like almost totally pass out while he was driving. I was like, hey.
That sounds dangerous, man.
It scared the hell out of me.
I don't know. I feel like shit. I didn't go out last night. I'm in Mexico, so there's no real Halloween. But I guess it turns out that everyone celebrates Day of the Dead a lot last night. And I thought it was tonight. But I think I'll be celebrating Day of the Dead, like hat, face, and everything. I'll throw in a picture if I do, right here.
Yeah.
And if I didn't, if you don't see this picture, then I was a loser and I decided to stay in. And that's how that
funny.
goes.
I thought Halloween was one of those things that kind of transferred over, you know?
I mean, but a Day of the Dead is so big here that it's literally today. Like, you know, it's 3 days and All Saints Day, Day of the Dead, you know, and I guess maybe because of that, yeah, it's just not such a big thing for people running around in Spider-Man costumes and stuff like that.
Sure.
No.
Sure. But no one's doing that during Day of the Dead. No one's like, oh, I'm going to dress as Iron Man and walk down the street.
No, they do the typical skeleton man, skeleton woman. Karin and Karina or something like that. I don't know. I feel like shit, buddy. But I'm still here. I'm still doing it. Ugh. How do you feel? Did you drink?
No. If I'm driving, I'm not drinking.
They don't call him Angel for nothing, folks. Look at you.
Staying responsible.
Yeah.
Staying responsible. I wanted to drink.
Well, Angel's in Hollywood. He's a big Hollywood player. He just came off. I don't know. You say the name if you want to say the name. Giant game release. Huge game release. You can do the math. And he's probably feeling pretty damn good right now. Were people there from work at this party, or was it just like a...
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There was a lot of people from, I guess from Call of Duty. And I'm
not going to let that one slide.
And then it was there, I was there for BlizzCon, and so it was a Halloween party, and it was BlizzCon.
Yeah.
So there was a whole bunch of people from Blizzard, and then I had a lot of mutual friends that work at the company. So it was really cool to see everybody, and it's without sounding like a dick, it was like a nerd rave, which is kind of cool. Like there was just
I love nerds.
Yeah, it was
nerds
just very
peeps.
welcoming. It was very welcoming. It was very chill and relaxed. I came out in my...
It's great. It's very low competition in the nerd. It's great. You don't have to worry about being a douchebag. It's just like douchebag free zone. It's fun.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah,
there are
100%. Well, yeah, there's nerd bullies everywhere.
Yeah. Or
a lot of out-of-towners.
Bullies who are nerds, or nerds who are bullies who are nerds, or bullies who bully nerds.
No, nerds who are bullies.
Yes, they're the worst.
They're the worst. I'm like you're a walking contradiction right now.
It's like a Jewish person helping the Nazis in World War II.
Hey, they were there. That happened.
Yeah. I mean, that's
sadly
basically what it is. But you feel okay? You feeling all right? I just.
Did you drink?
No, but I had a shot yesterday for the show. We recorded yesterday, and I got a bunch of bad news. I got like a bunch of nothing like nothing like health related or family related. Just like a product I've got, is not doing as well as it used to do. And then of course I'll say Booty Fresh. I love Booty Fresh. Booty Fresh. I'm out of stock, and my manufacturer is was really lagging on stuff, and it was like no updates, no anything. It's me basically managing his people because it's just I never know what's going on, and I swear to God, sometimes I think and I think it's like if I have any alcohol and there's like stacks of bad news, I just get very
Well, sure. No, it's funny. You usually drink to alleviate that stress, but then it just I don't know. It mixes in with that negative shit that's already stewing in your body, and then
I never, ever, ever drink to feel happy. Never.
Yeah.
I drink to celebrate, to jump and sing, and basically after accomplishments, things like this. And I had one shot just to take off nerves because the gal. Great interview, by the way, if you haven't seen it. This woman, Addie, she is a devout spiritual practitioner, but she's not full of shit. I'd never do that to you. Or I'd say if she was. And she did a week without food or water. And she was just like, like freaking out. And she did it basically alone under the guidance of people. But I think 6 months total without real food, just liquid. But the first week was no water either. And it totally changed her thing about food. Anyway, I mean, I'll just say that it totally changed the way that she reacts to food, things like this. And she's not full of shit. Anyway, that's all I'll say because you can see the episode. But yeah, it was good. It was good. So I took shot because she's a little sensitive. These people who do these things, they don't want to be made fun of and all that. So they're kind of cautious.
Sure. Sure. That's. I really got to listen to that. That actually sounds really interesting. I want to know how she lived.
Yeah, well, we didn't get into that too much. It wasn't like today where our guest was in a temple. She just did it on her own. But yeah, I mean, like interacting with friends and stuff. Anyway, check out the episode. Check it out. I don't want to make this episode about that episode, obviously, but yeah. And speaking of episodes, this is the 5th episode, or at least the 5th one we're recording out of the 5 that we're launching with. So all of the news that you hear, and it's Halloween, I'm talking about Joker. I think we talked about Joker. It's old news. Okay, I get it. It's old hat. But now that we're releasing, and I think sometime before Thanksgiving, all of the episodes will be weekly, and they should be quite fresh. So I think it's a milestone. I'm going to give ourselves a round of applause here for this.
Well deserved.
5 episodes before getting any feedback from anyone. So we'll see. Hopefully it's not too boring and too... Oh, God. Oh. I don't know.
Don't take another shot.
I know. I was thinking, I think I'm not going to take another shot. Yeah.
Maybe a little hair of the dog, though.
Should I do it? I'll do it. Fuck it. Listen, it's. I hate doing it, but I feel fine actually in terms of my nervousness. But fuck it.
Oh yeah.
It's Halloween.
What do you got over there?
Well, it's fucking the Mexican safety nozzles on these things. Don Julio 70.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Oh, that's right. I have it auto locked. I have it focus locked. I'm excited about it.
I'm looking at my
red.
booze.
I'll get immediately red. Look at him red now. Jeez. I'll get immediately red when I take this one. Here's to Halloween in America, Day of the Dead in Mexico.
Cheers.
It's good. I don't like Blanco. I like Añejo. They say it's Añejo Blanco, which makes no sense to me. Tequila Añejo. I think it's a gimmick. I think it's just some
probably
cheaper version of Don Julio. People are like, hey, it's Añejo. When they come to Cabo. 70. It must mean 70 years, or something.
70 gringos that fell for this.
70. More like 70 million. Oh, buddy, when are you going to get down here? Well, you're probably not going to get down here.
Well, I thought that time would I would actually get some time off, but things are still going so strong at work, man. And I'm like, not as bad as it was a couple weeks ago, but
I'll tell you what, if you can make it, I think I'm going to be down here for about another 3 weeks, and then I got to, or maybe I'll wait until the very beginning of. Oh yeah, that would be 3 weeks from now. Yeah, and then I'll make it up for Thanksgiving. I'll swing by the way, before I go up to Seattle. If that's
Please.
Cool.
No, I got a whole room now. I got a whole extra room.
Beautiful. And then we got to do sushi. And then I believe I got to do something in December between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Because, it's I don't have a place in the States, so I just stay with my folks. I don't see them a lot, so I stay with them for a month. But I can't do a month, dude. I can't do my mom, dad, if you're watching, I'm sorry. It's true. We all know, 2 weeks, I think.
That's the kicker.
So I got to do something.
Oh, hey, I'm going to the Magic Castle next week.
I feel like that's an invitation. I'm sorry. I can't make it. Sorry, I can't make it. I got to get a haircut. Oh. Okay, go on. Go ahead. Keep talking.
No, I'm really stoked about it. I've never been, and ever since I've lived in California, I always wanted to go there.
You don't just go to the Magic Castle. You got to be invited.
Yeah, you have to get an invitation, which is the biggest pain in the ass. And I've always known people that have had friends or have been members, and I just never had an opportunity. Yep. And then one came up, and I was just like, oh my God, this is awesome.
Yeah.
But I got to get a suit.
Yeah, you do. You don't have a suit?
No, I don't have a suit. I used to have a nice suit.
I'm going to wear a suit today for my Day of the Dead shit. I got to go find a hat. Although my fucking hair looks like a hat. This By the way, this is the last time you're going to see me with this hair, at least until it grows out again. I'm getting a haircut. I waited until this. Look at this. I look like fucking Fletch, you know? Just like 70s shit. Let's shut up. Let me talk about my fucking earmuffs. I can't stand them.
I'm just saying there's an easy alternative.
For the folks at home, Angel is shaven. A cloven shaven head. Cloven head.
Bicked. Bicked head.
He's bicked. And, you know, looking good. By the way, our co-host yesterday, Pilar, she said you look cute. And that you just keep working out and you keep being good and the women will go nuts for you. I don't know why I'm telling you this, but that's I don't have no idea what that why the,
well you're you thank your co-host for me. I always appreciate
no,
good
but
advice.
for real, she's no slouch. You know, she's no fuck up. That's for damn sure.
Well, now I just got to pick a good one.
Well, I'll tell you what though, she didn't laugh at like I say, she didn't laugh at my fucking jokes yesterday as much as I thought she would. I thought she was going to be my Robin, you know, Howard Stern Robin, you know, Quivers, because she's all, why would you do that, Howard? And it's like, Robin, isn't that right, Robin? You like to masturbate? And she's like, no, I don't. Oh, come on, Robin. No, Robin. You know. But, you know, she was sick, and she was looking at her phone all day yesterday. And she's getting all kinds of messages from like her employees saying, I need to get paid, which she pays every goddamn time. So it's like, and it was worrying her, you know, and she's getting worried. And I'm like typing to her on Facebook. I'm like, are you looking at your phone? You know, are you looking at your goddamn phone?
Get off your fucking phone.
Yeah, right. But she asked great questions. Didn't she, folks?
So you're getting a taste of almost what it's like to try and do stand-up.
Yeah, I feel I'm bombing. Yeah, I know what bombing feels like.
Bombing is a special experience.
I just heard Joe Rogan say, he said, it's like when you kill and everyone loves it, it's the fucking greatest feeling in the world, and you're just like, what? And when you bomb, it's like, no matter how veteran you are in the industry, it just fucks you. You did stand up, didn't you?
I did.
Dude, tell me about that. Please tell me about that.
It's like describing a bad trip. Every comic will describe it the exact same way. Yeah, when you can make a crowd of people laugh, it's you feel like $1 million. You feel like you're on top of the world. It's an excellent experience. But when you bomb, you're just like, cool, I'm gonna go home and kill myself. Like it's devastating.
Did you make people laugh? I mean, listen, I'm gonna assume you bombed. I mean, I would bomb.
No. So the first time I ever did stand-up, which is probably the worst experience to have the first time, I did really well.
Really?
I did really well. And then I was just like, oh my God, you know, this is
like
is
golf.
I can do this. And then I became super confident. And then the next time I did it, I bombed.
Were you? Yeah, you were confident.
Pretty bad.
Right.
And then the time after that, I bombed even worse. And then the time after that, I got a couple of laughs.
Oh.
But it was very hard to come back from. But I didn't, you know, I went into it totally blind. I didn't stick to the same material. I didn't write the material beforehand.
Yep.
You know, I didn't obsess over it. I just didn't know how to be a comic. I just thought, oh, I'm a funny guy. I can go up there and make people laugh. And again, the worst experience, in my opinion, that you could have is having a very positive experience, because then you think you're the cock of the walk, and then the next thing you know, someone's tearing you apart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can't believe you did that. I really hand it to you, because that's intense. That's fucking intense, man. Like,
well, I wanted to be a performer. I always wanted to be a performer.
Well, look at you now, man. Look at you now.
Yeah.
Where are you
manage
sitting right
performers.
now? And you're doing it on your day off. You're going to get done with this thing. You're just going to have a nice loungy day today.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to play some Red Dead 2, maybe, but Red Dead 2, this is how early we are. Red Dead 2 is coming out in 4 days. I am on PC. I am so fucking jazzed. That's what I really want to do. I want to finish this episode, start promoting the show, and just play Red Dead 2. And I want to convince you to get the game on PC. Hell, I'll go halves with you. If you want to go in with me on another supplement on Amazon, I'll go halves with you on fucking Red Dead. You get it, and you, Lou, and I, we can posse up. Maybe get one more person in there. Come on, Doug, man. Doesn't that sound great? You can be the leader. You can be the leader because you know how to play the game.
But all right. Listen, I would definitely play Red Dead Redemption 2 again on PC because I'm playing through it now. So I
don't think it's a co-op thing. I think it's like a GTA 5 online thing.
And see, I feel like I missed out on that. Everyone that I know still plays that.
I haven't done it.
Still plays that shit to this day.
Okay, let's just do GTA 5 then.
Well, I don't know because GTA 6 is coming out soon.
Oh, not till fucking 2021, bro. Come on.
Really? I think it's 2020.
No, they're updating They're updating GTA 5 still. They just released a casino. They're really focused on it, actually.
Well, yeah, because it's like I think it's generated, or GTA, is it GTA 4 or GTA 5? It's generated more money than any other like media released of all time, like movies, games.
It had to have. I look like I just took a bunch of Viagra. Yeah, I mean, but dude, now Red Dead. Okay, coming out on PC, it's another launch. I mean, it's fantastic. I mean, same thing happened with GTA 5, I guess. I don't know, man. Listen, we got to get on one of them. I'll get on GTA 5 because it's the same fucking engine, right? I'll get on GTA 5, and I haven't done anything. I just have a guy with a fro and a mustache. That's all I've got. You know.
Play Red Dead first. See what you think.
Well, then would you get? I'll get on either now. So let me play it. I'm obviously going to play the campaign first. Let me play it, and then I'll say, "Oh my God, Angel!" And if I say Angel, you got to do it. Then you have to. I don't want to put you in that. Listen. Make your own decisions.
I would love to get into something like that because I feel like I really did miss out on GTA 5.
I think you've got the time. You know, I think you got the time. You have that sense of accomplishment. You come home from work every day. You're fucking done with it. You know, and you're ready to chill. I think it's the perfect situation. Lou obviously has all the time in the world. You know.
What does he do?
Lou, another co-host of our show. He does. I don't know if
You're like, I don't know what the hell he does.
Fuck it. I'll cut it out if I can't say it. But he scans documents for I think either accountants or something. I'm not sure, but he scans documents all day. And he works 20. He just got upgraded to 20 hours a week.
Jesus.
Yeah, and they would hire him longer, but he literally, I think they rent the space, and they can only have the space for that much time a week, whatever that means. I don't know.
It's like a boiler room situation.
That's who we're dealing with here on Bravely Mistaken. That is our co-host, the wild card co-host, I'd say.
Definitely a wild card. You know, I liked what he did on a few episodes. Like I listened to him and I was like, oh, that's good.
Which one?
I think the divorce episode still. I think he did a great job.
Yeah, he was good. Yeah, and he wanted to ask the guest more questions, Mr. D. He wanted to ask Mr. D more questions, but I think he asked. I think he actually asked everything he wanted. He's just funny like that.
Yeah, I thought he did good. I thought the questions were good. I thought the rapport between you and him were good because it was just two totally different people.
Did you listen to? I think it's the first episode, and I'm pretty sure it is the Doomsday episode. Did you listen to that? How pissed?
No.
How pissed? Oh, you got to listen to it.
I really want to listen to that. Did you send me the link for that?
It's in our group chat.
Okay, all right.
But yeah. I'll post it up again. Yeah, I'm like I had to put him in the timeout box.
Oh man,
I had to put him in the penalty box. Seriously, and I didn't know I had a penalty box. You know.
Fucking Lou.
Yeah, well, anyway, listen. Speaking of being confined into some kind of prison penalty box thing, we're going to get on with our guest who was in an ashram in India, Osho ashram in India, not the one in Wild Wild Country, but the main one in Pune, India, for 8 years. And this girl she's really something. She's full of energy. She's full of light and love. And we hope we're going to get the no bullshit account of what's going on over there. So that's how it works. If you want to see the video of the interview, you can go to YouTube at Bravely Mistaken, I think. Otherwise, I've dubbed over the real channel. If you want to see the show on YouTube, go over there and check it out. Otherwise, we will continue after this. Oh, I couldn't be more excited, Angel.
Oh, yeah.
Your favorite. Okay, anyway, I don't know what the fuck I was going to say there. I was distracted. Okay, guys, we'll see you in a bit. So why not just use soap and water to remove booty smells like a regular person? Well, the problem is toilet paper. Yes, that stuff we use every day is making you stink without you even knowing it. And it goes like this. Say you're hiking through the mighty land and oops, you fell into the mud and look, it's all over your hands. All you can do is wipe them off with the napkins you have stuffed in your pockets, but of course you know that they won't totally clean all the mud off. There's still going to be a thin layer of dirt on your palms that won't go away until you find a sink or a river. Well, the same thing is happening in the bathroom, friends. We are literally rubbing our bunk into our trunk. And it just sits there all day until we shower. And in the meantime, that thin layer begins to marinate under the skin. And once it's in there, it's impossible to wash out. We can scrub and scrub and scrub, but there will always be that certain essence left over. I don't even want to mention what happens after a few years of this behavior. And baby wipes don't get everything. Definitely not the stuff that's already in there. So we're still stuck in the muck. The only way to lift that baked-on booty is Booty Fresh. The Booty Fresh is not a cover-up. Instead, it pulls out and zaps the odor-causing bacteria that is hiding underneath the skin that regular soap and water and washing and scrubbing just can't get out. No, this is not a joke, and yes, it really works. You just spray it on, let it sit, rinse it off, and bam, the sweet smell of nothing. Never worry again about ruining your chances with that hot date or missing a shower because you're off slaying that dragon. Booty Fresh gets you back to zero with just one use, and you can actually feel it working. Booty Fresh is made with totally natural ingredients already meant for the skin, and one use will work up to a whole week. So for all your intimate close encounters, or to just make sure that you're OCD clean back there, spray on Booty Fresh and bring out only the truest you. Get some Booty Fresh and love your butt.
Available at Amazon.com.
Everybody, welcome back to the show. This is Jordan O'Leary. Today I have India, who is on with me, who spent 8 years in an ashram in India. 8 years in a temple in India, specifically an Osho temple in India, or Rajneesh temple in India. And we are going to hear this amazing story of what it is like to basically be in a self-imposed prison, or at least that's what it's like for me when I'm in my Zen temple. What that's like, not just for a month, not just for a retreat, but for 8 years. And you can hear her giggling in the background. India, how are you? Welcome to the show. Thank you for coming.
I'm very well, and thank you for inviting me.
Well, I couldn't.
Jordan and Angel.
Angel, of course, is with us. If you're listening on the podcast, once again, you can see the video on YouTube. You can check it out there. Anyway, India,
Yeah.
I want to tell you something. I want to preempt this a little bit. I want to let you know that I am not a layman when it comes to things retreat, when it comes to temple life, when it comes to scheduled life, things like this. I do 2 retreats a year, 7 days. Often it's solo. I've also lived with a community in a Zen temple in California. I was there for about a month, and I've done maybe a month here and there, that kind of thing. And I'm also familiar with Osho. before the documentary, before all of this riffraff. I've read his books. I used to fall asleep listening to him. So I am good. I understand what Osho is. I understand what temple life is. But once again, even with my experience there, I have no clue what 8 years would do to me as a person, basically doing exactly what you've done. I have no idea what that would do, even with all my experience. And I'll tell you one more thing. The audience, the audience definitely has no clue what this is like. Definitely 100%. So you're going to have to go really easy on us because we are clueless about this stuff. So you please allow my dumb questions and my stupidity about all this stuff. And I thank you very much once again for coming on. Thank you, India. Welcome.
Thank you, Jordan.
Of course. I met India in India, as it were, in Rishikesh, much like my last guest, or at least my last guest. I think it was the second episode. I'm not sure. And she's a lovely lady, just pulled it out of me. And I want to just hit you with the very big question, just to start out with.
Go ahead.
Were you enlightened by doing 8 years in a temple? Stupid question, I know, but I gotta ask. What do you say about that?
Enlightened?
Yes.
It's a very big word, I think. In the spiritual communities, everyone wants to be enlightened, I think.
Yes.
But I didn't go to Osho commune, or actually it calls, right now it's not ashram anymore, it's Osho Resort International Resort. Meditation resort.
And this is where?
It's in Pune.
This is in Pune, India. India.
Yeah. Pune, India, yeah. State of Maharashtra. So I didn't go there for enlightenment.
Yes.
That I didn't know anything about enlightenment when I went to India. I just fell in love with meditation, and my life changed very quickly. And I just wanted to go and be in the place where Osho was teaching. I didn't go with some kind of precise intention, to Osho ashram.
Well, you're very lucky. You're very lucky that you didn't go with an intention, because that's always what I'm having to battle every time I do a retreat. Yeah. It's at least the first 4 days, I'd say, are just getting over my intention. Although intention is very important, in my opinion, for spiritual life. But let me ask you this. Okay, maybe you wouldn't say I was enlightened or I was this, is this. But obviously, has it changed your life?
Totally.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Yeah, okay. How long ago was this?
Well, I went to Osho commune or Osho ashram in 2000. And I lived there until 2008, and then I was living in India. I left the Osho resort, meditation resort, and I went to live in Goa. When I was in Pune ashram, I didn't want to go out. Actually, I didn't want to travel, and I just wanted to be there all the time. Like that was
how do you
my
do this?
main.
How do you decide that? Okay, my life and this life with burgers and schnitzel and I don't know where do they have in Latvia? She is a lovely.
No, I was living in Italy.
You were living in Italy, then. So
pasta,
aglio, olio, and bruschetta. How in this life and this gondolas and things, of course. How can you decide? I know that's awful. How can you decide to just say, okay, I'm going to not do these things anymore, and then having it work, you actually don't want to leave and things like this? What's going on there, transitioning from a life like this into a life of piety and devotion?
I was not happy at that time, you know. Something happened. Actually, on the outside, everything was fine. But inside, I was feeling completely unhappy, and I didn't see myself anymore belonging to anywhere, you know. I was asking myself why I'm here. What is the purpose of this life? I started to ask myself these questions, and nobody could answer.
I see.
You know, and then actually I was in Miami, Florida. I remember very well that time in 2000, or yeah, it was 2000 actually, and it was.
Partying, of course.
Partying
hard.
yes, partying hard, quite hard, yeah. And it was a bright, sunny day, and it was just beautiful, you know, Miami, very colorful and interesting place to be. And I was feeling completely down, you know. I wouldn't say depressed, but I was feeling down. And then I brought with me one book of Osho to Miami, given to me by one friend from Milan, one Brazilian girl. And I opened that book. I was actually, I remember exactly what happened. I was sitting in the beautiful hotel, Dolano, I think, was the name of that beautiful place. And it was a book of Osho. And I started to read. And then everything was just like answering my question, you know, what is the purpose of this life? The same day, I booked the ticket.
Wow.
I left Miami.
Yeah.
I went to Milan, and maybe day after, I went to the Osho Center in Milan.
I was going to say, wait a minute. The Osho Center is not in Milan.
Yes.
Had you been kind of on a long string of kind of the heathenistic lifestyle, so to speak, or kind of that kind of thing?
Abbastanza. Enough.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, usual, you know.
Sure. Well,
Partying, traveling a lot.
yeah.
Were you
going to
religious at all
beautiful-
before?
Not at all. Zero.
No, zero. So this was like this just wonderful new concept that made sense to you. Like you read it, you're just like, okay, it's following everything that I'm really wondering about life.
It just answered my questions, you know, immediately. It was so immediate, and it resonated with my state of being at that moment. And the thing was that it was not a religion. It was not a new religion that I had to believe into, you know. So I liked that it was not about religion, actually. It was not about God. It was not about new religion, new concept, let's say, you know. It was all about yourself and meditation.
And so it wasn't like this big God you had to fear and all these rules that you had to follow. Otherwise, you were going to go one place. It didn't feel that constraint.
Not at all. I felt freedom, immediate freedom, you know, from my belief system, actually. You know?
Yeah. I remember I did acid. And I had all these insights and all this stuff, like yes, this is the way the world is, and yes, this is how life is and reality is. But it's like, this is what I'm experiencing. How do I explain it to other people? How do I, I don't know how to relate this into the normal things that are happening to me in my life. However, this realizations that I had on acid were very much there. I just didn't notice them. They're kind of in the background. And then it wasn't until I read Be Here Now by Ram Dass, and I happened to be on acid again. And it was saying all the things that I had been kind of figuring out, and I go, oh my God, this is saying exactly what I'm experiencing. Like, this is it. Oh my God, and it was very clear to me, like it was like, there it is, someone gets it. Like, there's words for this stuff. There's terminology for this stuff.
that was my feeling when I read Osho's words. But I was totally clean, not on drugs. Nothing.
Yeah. Well, that's always the best.
So you're in Miami. You read this. You read through this book. You have this this connection to it, and then what? You just get on a plane and just go. I'm just going to move. I'm going to take all my stuff, and I'm just going to move.
Yeah, it was so immediate. I had no doubt anymore.
That's crazy.
You know, this big yes. I just wanted. All I wanted is to start to meditate and experience what he was describing. You know.
Were you scared?
And also get out of my misery. No, I was totally. No.
I think it's you're just like
even
jumping up and down.
Moment,
You're just ready.
I was actually, I was very excited. I was very excited. Yeah.
I think it's just when you know what. Yep. Go ahead, please. I interrupted you.
Sorry. I just felt it's the beginning of my new life.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't know. I really jumped into the unknown. You know, I gave up my old connections and my old job and everything. Actually, I took 1 year for myself, and I started to meditate as soon as I came back from Miami. And I was as soon as I started to get into that circles of meditators, I was scared, of course, sometimes, because Osho meditation, some of them are very intense, you know, and radical.
Can you tell what are some of those? What are some of these things? I mean, because I'm a meditator, but
yeah. Well, there are few cathartic meditations like dynamic meditation. It's more. It's kind of extreme, you know, because you scream a lot, you breathe, you express yourself freely, you know, whatever is there, whatever emotions, suppressed emotions you have, they really come out, you know, they come on the surface, and then you have to express them. But it's not only just express them, you have to watch them at the same time, you know. When I went to this meditation, cathartic meditation, I was very scared.
Yes.
You know?
I was about to say, there's something about people who just, like, I'll be honest with you, when I see people ecstatic dancing, I know that if I just go in there and I just start moving, it'll be fine. You know, it'll be fine. But at first, I'm like, oh, yeah, guys, have fun. No, you know, I'm definitely 100% like that.
That brings up a good question, because it's just like a lot of that hesitation for you just to go out there and do those things is what other people are going to think of you. So let's say when you started to do this, did you tell people, did you tell like your family and friends, did you say, hey, I just discovered this wonderful thing. It means so much to me. I'm going to go do this. And was anyone just like, are you crazy? Like, what are you doing? You know, did anyone try to stop you? Or
had to be.
Everyone.
Yeah.
I think everyone. And my friends in Milan, they were saying, okay, now what? You are going to wear sari and be religious, and you are not going, and you are not going to drink champagne anymore, and not going to party.
All that Milan stuff, yeah. Champagne.
And actually, that's what was happening. I lost my interest. I lost all interest in partying, in continuous kind of show off and proving something to others. Yeah. I started to really to dive into meditation, you know.
So it's like the chains were broken. You were just like, I'm free of all of this stuff. Like, I don't need to do this.
No. I mean, until I was feeling that I don't have to, I don't owe anything to anyone, you know, and I can be myself. I mean, I needed some years of meditation and so-called deconditioning, you know, from my old kind of personality. Yeah, they call it deconditioning.
Yes. Absolutely. Yes. No, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, because you're locked in
some
these.
Time, yeah.
Yeah, you're locked in this idea of what should be, and how, like I say, it's cheesy to dance. I mean, I need like 4 drinks to dance, but once I start dancing, watch out. To really feel comfortable to actually get out there, you know. But before, it's this feeling of like I say with ecstatic dancing, it's like, oh God, you know, like, oh, these guys are just dancing, and like theater people, you know. You're just like a little it's dramatic. It's just. But that's just it. It's that block. And I'm telling you, I am this way. I am a judgmental person. I am that way. But I know it's just a block. It's an idea of that it's stupid, and it's protecting me from looking stupid. Just like you said, Angel. Exactly like you said. It's protecting me from being an idiot. But everyone out there is worried about the same thing. So the catharsis is, you get out there, you're screaming, you're shaking, you know, you're doing whatever it is that you're doing. I don't know. And just the freedom of having that block lifted is...
It's amazing, yeah. It's amazing.
I mean, I liked what you said about you felt... What is it that you said? I'm not responsible, or I don't owe anything to anyone. I mean, that is... I mean, if that's not enlightenment... You know, really, I don't really know what is, you know, like, what else do you want, you know?
But like, you just, you know, from the very beginning, when I started to meditate and I started religiously to go like every day to meditation, you know, and discovering actually how many masks I have, you know, like for real, it's not, wow. And to feel more free, of course, and feel more free towards myself first, you know. And when you feel this freedom inside, of course, you can distinguish, you know, what is important for you and what is not. You know, it just comes naturally.
Did you lose any kind of relationships before you went to the ashram, to the resort?
Yeah.
You lost some relationship from them finding out that you're going.
No, actually, I was in the relationship before I left to India. I was in this relationship, but I started to see that we have such different views, you know, and our desires in life were very different, you know, and I was not into that anymore.
And your partner must have been so confused. They're just like, what?
Yeah, he was very confused and heartbroken and disappointed, and he could not understand why and what is happening, you know. But I was very much clear about... Actually, the clarity came quite right away after I started a few meditations, you know. I was very clear. I need this. I don't need this anymore.
So there was never moments of like doubt, like right in the beginning, where you're just like, maybe I've made a bad choice. Maybe I should go back to this lifestyle.
All the time there were doubts, but very like momentary doubts. And then I was diving into meditation and into Osho's words. I was listening to his discourses and reading his words. He actually never wrote any book.
Right. All of his books are transcripts.
Yeah. So whenever I was doubting my new life, I was just going into meditation, you know, and just
that is the solution.
Just checking if this is true, or it's just this deceiving mind, which is actually, it never changes, you know. It's always doubting, and fearful, and
every time
whatever you will do, it's never enough, So once you understand this, you're just not paying so much attention to your mind.
Did you have others there with you at the ashram that were probably experiencing the same thing, that were like a support system for you, just when you had those doubts or you had those questions? Did you guys talk about it like as a group and amongst each other?
So we are talking now about India, because I started to meditate in Italy, in Milan, and I went to different retreats. So I really dedicated this 1 year of my life to meditation and self-discovery and retreats. And
Sounds right.
I was going for it,
And in Milan, you moved into the temple there. Yes, it was a residential thing.
No.
Okay.
It was just a center. It was a meditation center.
You eased in. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. But I think already in Milan, I was sharing my, maybe not doubts. I was still very new, and I didn't want to look not spiritual,
insincere,
and stupid, insincere, and maybe not spiritual and stupid, the beginner. So I was, but I think I was sharing with some people who I trusted. I was sharing, and I didn't take I didn't change my name immediately, So that was, I took my name, I changed my name where the doubt really disappeared,
Wow.
And that was still in Italy. So I went to India already I took sannyas, so I took initiation in Italy.
So when you are initiated into what is the official name? What would you call it? Into the practice. What is the official name of the practice?
You call it taking a sannyas.
Okay, as a sannyasin, like a monk, so to speak, kind of like a nun or a monk.
Well, in the Osho world, there is a new meaning to this word, to this initiation. He calls his sannyasin neo-sannyas. So it's a new meaning. You don't have to be a monk. You don't have to be celibate.
Sure.
You don't have to go from the world to hide in Himalayas in the cave.
Neither do we in Zen either.
You can live in the world, but not to be of the world.
Okay, so what is the initiation into something like this?
I think for everyone it happens in a different way. I don't think any doubt.
Well, I mean, for Zen, it's called Jukai in my lineage, and we sit there. We have to sew this thing that's like the kesa.
You mean how the ritual happens?
Yeah. What is?
Okay.
Yes.
It's there is someone who is some of the Osho old sannyasins usually. In my case, there was this beautiful lady. She was a therapist, and my first therapist and my first teacher. Her name is Shunyo. She's really amazing being. She was very close to Osho. And so she was leading this retreat in Italy, in some beautiful Osho center. And I told her that I would like to take a sannyas, and become Osho sannyasin. And
so what was that? What was the actual ritual for that? How did that go?
So she was sitting there with this mala.
Yes.
Osho mala with Osho portrait on it. And basically you dance a lot. Everybody is dancing with you. It's like a celebration. It's a celebration and initiation into your new life, And why new name? Because you have association with your old name,
Like conditioning is associated, like a big
yes,
part.
and you associate it with all your old life,
Same
when
with
you have
Zen.
this-
Same exact thing with Zen. Yeah, you
Yeah,
get a
it's
Zen
a rebirth.
name.
It's a rebirth.
Dharma name. Yeah.
And yeah, but after a few years, I understood that I took a new identity, and here we have to be very, very careful, because so you get rid of the old one, but then you can easily get the new.
You can kind of stain the new one, although you can't really, but you
The
can
spiritual identity, which
the
is
spiritual materialism kind of thing, like a
yeah, it's
spiritual pride.
It's tricky,
Yes,
It's not.
yes.
Yeah,
Pride.
but when you when you get initiation, it's very pure. It's very beautiful. It's really. It's a full trust in your master, in his movement, in his teaching, in the sannyas world, in the community of people who love your master.
You moved to India, and you've got this. You're already initiated. You've got your new name, which is India. You moved to India. Had you been to India before?
Never.
Oh boy! So did you land in Delhi or Mumbai?
In Mumbai.
Oh wow! I've never been to Mumbai. I've been to India 3 times. In Delhi every time. I've never gone south. So Mumbai, how was that? I mean, how was that? And in Delhi is just like whoa.
It was just like a movie, like in a movie. How can you describe? You were coming from Milan,
Oh God, yes.
How can you describe?
Milan.
But I was so much eager to reach my destination, to go to Osho ashram. So everything around was like a movie,
Yeah.
It didn't really affected me, but I was immediately when I get out of the plane,
Yes.
I said, I'm home, Honestly, I was so happy.
And then you saw someone shitting on the street. And you said,
I saw many things on the way because I went by car. I went by taxi
yes.
through
yes.
all the slums, and it was like it's a dream. It's Maya. It's not real.
Right.
It cannot happen for real to the humans.
Was there a moment where you saw in these first days where you're just like, whoa, I am here?
I'm in a different place.
Is there a moment where that you remember?
Yeah.
You saw something?
I think the smell was the most kind of.
Well, that's not a moment. That's just existing, and that's just part of being in India for sure.
Well, the smell and the traffic, the way they drive. If you, Jordan, you went by car from Rishikesh to Delhi, how scary.
Absolutely.
It can be, on the road. So, I was a few times
it's
kind of
insane.
like, wow.
It's the worst. It's absolutely the worst.
It is insane, yeah.
Keep. I interrupted you. I want to hear it. Keep going. Yeah.
Keep asking.
Oh, okay. All right. You were done. Yeah, Angel, you got to step away. Go for it, man.
Oh yeah, no, it's I totally forgot about this thing, but yeah, it's just gonna be 2 seconds, and then they're not even here yet.
Just come back and jump. Just leave and come back. It's no problem.
Okay, I'm sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no, I'll just fade to something. Okay, awesome. So you're on your way to Pune and to the big. And now this is, I don't know what it was like at the time, but this is a grandiose, a very big compound with that as a glass temple or a pyramid kind of in the middle of the thing, and everyone's walking around wearing. What are you wearing again? What is the color of the garb that the sannyasins wear? Is it purple or
maroon
white?
robe? Maroon robe. Yeah, men and women. We were wearing these maroon robes.
Okay.
I loved it. I love it.
So can you?
I think it's so
Yes?
liberating to wear this robe.
I'm a burgundy man myself, but maroon's pretty close. Can I ask you, what was a typical day like over there? What was just let's say skip ahead 3 years. What's a typical day like at the ashram?
You work 7 days.
So what time do you wake up? Just run through a day for us.
If you want to go for dynamic meditation, then I think it was around 6 o'clock, something like this. So you have to get up like 5:30.
And this is the meditation where you're kind of screaming and shaking. And what is there anything in that? Well, yeah, no, I mean that's not important. Everyone's doing all kinds of very strange things for people who are not initiated in this kind of thing. On the ground, writhing. Are people grabbing each other, or is it like hands off, strictly kind of situation?
Totally hands off. I don't know what was happening in the beginning of Pune Ashram, but when I get there, no, not at all.
What
Very
do you mean
civilized.
you don't know what do you mean what was happening in the beginning? What do you mean by that?
Well, I think when people were, I cannot actually talk about what I didn't see, but I heard many stories, of course. It was much more intense, and people were, it was a different time.
Let's just say a bit more hands-on, let's say.
Probably. I was not there.
All right, absolutely.
I was not witnessing Pune 1 and Pune 2.
Pune 1 and Pune 2.
Yeah. There was Pune 1 and Pune 2.
I mean, of course, everyone's seen the goddamn documentary, of course, But yeah, I do know at the time that had kind of changed and everything like this. Yeah. So you're going through dynamic. Trust me, it's not my top of interest here. So you go through dynamic meditation in the morning if you want to, and then from there.
And then you go for breakfast.
And
beautiful. First of all, you have to understand. Have you been in the Osho?
No, I've never been south of Jaipur. Never been south of Jaipur.
Oh, okay. So it's basically a large garden. It's a very big territory, and it has 2 sections. Divided by the road, and
divided by devote. I'm sorry.
Divided by the road.
By
there
road.
are like 2.
I thought you said devote, like devotional. Oh, okay.
No.
Yes, go ahead.
So it's really like to be in the garden. So you spend a lot of time outside, and the trees and the birds and the flowers. And many happy people, thousands of happy, very open, smiley people, And after the breakfast.
What is breakfast? So what kind of food are they serving?
Strictly vegetarian, of course.
Vegetarian, yes.
Yeah, and we had two kinds of kitchen. One was more simple, more kind of Indian style.
Yes.
More simple, but very good quality. And another one was more for European kind of taste,
Yeah, like
more
waffles.
Fine, more fine cuisine, and very good chefs were working. So many talented people were working for the love of Osho, and the community.
I am falling in love right now, India. I'm sorry for people who can't see it. I am just falling into the Osho spell right now. I am absolutely sinking into your words. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It was a very rich, very, very divine experience.
Yes.
I'm sorry if you guys already covered this, but you're not paying for any of this, right? This is just a community thing. It's just everyone's working for the same thing, or did you just say, or do they ask? Like, do they say, hey, we need X amount of money to help keep the community going, or?
No. In my case, because I had some money aside. I had some still money in Citibank of Miami.
Damn it.
The damn world.
When I just came to Pune, I still had that money.
And then
And,
Osho was like, "Oh, really? Sorry, I'm sorry. No, it's not."
No, Osho was not in the body anymore. But
okay.
No,
That was the
but
question,
nobody
I
would
think.
ask you. Nobody would ask you if you have
Right.
money or not. You just work for free. You work for free. They give you a beautiful, amazing accommodation for free inside. If you want to live inside, you can live outside as well. So I did both. I lived inside and outside because I prefer to have more freedom, to tell
Sure.
the truth, you know.
Sure.
But yeah, I didn't have to pay for anything.
Were you silent?
But
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, paying.
people who would just visit, I was working all the time. That's why
Yes.
I didn't have to pay. And
Yes.
actually, I was given this possibility to go through, to learn many new things for free,
Yes.
new trainings, you know.
So how does that work when you, let's say you want to eat? You know, like, do you just
Well, they're working.
take
no, I was-
take what you want, or how does the transaction work? Like, right, if there's no money and you're working for free, but they're providing all of these things for you, how much is enough? Like, was there anyone that was like really fat that was just like, I'm gonna eat all this food constantly every day?
No, but I didn't have this voucher for the food. The only thing that I was paying was the food, actually.
Oh, you paid
But
for the food.
Yeah, I paid for the food. But I know.
Oh,
that,
that's true. I looked it up actually, and still today you pay for food. I think still. Yeah.
I paid for the food, but I know that some people, some sannyasins, some people who would work in Osho resort,
Yes.
they would not have any money, you know.
Yeah.
So they were given these vouchers, and then I don't know how much they could
Well,
eat. I was never really interested, you know.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Basically, the commune was paying to them for the food, providing food, you know,
And
accommodation.
And I'm sorry, this is just, you know, I feel like these are very Western questions, but
Yeah,
it's interesting to
no
me
problem.
because
It's a Western show.
I always wonder, you know,
Yeah.
it leaves room for people to take advantage of the ashram itself, of Osho, right? You know, you have this genuine, wonderful little community of people that are all working for one goal, and that's the wellness for everyone together. And it's a very beautiful and wonderful thing. But then you see someone that's just without, and you can't help but think there's got to be someone that's just like, oh, free stuff. All right, cool. Like there's a free way to live. I could just sit and do this stuff and just take advantage of these people and then bounce. Did you ever witness that, or was there ever a feeling of that in the community? Like, did those people ever come around, or, you know, just people that with negative intentions? Did you notice that ever? Because it's for me, it's very easy to see that happening when you have someone that's very willing to give you everything. You
Yeah.
do kind of welcome in that negativity too, you know?
Well, not
Lovely
as
question.
I remember, honestly speaking, you know, probably there were people who were taking advantage, but what I can remember that I was so naive when I came to Osho resort, meditation resort, you know, I was very naive.
In casino.
I was thinking that everyone would be my master.
We're just
actually, you
going,
know, my
yeah.
teacher. If anyone took advantage of the commune, I think if they did, then they would. It would be noticed because you cannot hide these things, you know, in this environment. You know, you were actually exposed every day, sometimes too much exposed, you know. So I think if somebody would take advantage, then they had to deal with the authorities of the place, not with us, you know.
And how did that work? Like, I mean, let's say, you know, you're just not following the rules, you're just not being a person? Like, do they banish you? Like, like how does...
Yeah, I think that some people had to leave the community, the commune, they don't call it ashram anymore, and for the simple reason it's not really an ashram, anymore. It was an ashram when Osho was in the body. I think they would be
escorted
how
out.
do you say? Yes, but not like in front of everyone. I think people were sometimes maybe given some time out, of the commune, and then in some cases people could come back, I heard the stories, but I never. Yeah, I think it's natural if somebody is not following the rules, because you need the rules in such a big community. If you don't follow them.
Well, sure. I mean,
with Zen, actually, at our place, it was a problem. So people would either be getting out of rehab or they'd be getting out of jail, and they want to come to the temple and just kind of fuck around, and they just think sitting around all day and, like Zen meditation and just kind of eat vegetarian and walk around. A lot of people also, just new age people coming, thinking they can just kind of walk around the forest and kind of hang out, do some meditation. The way that we would combat that over at the temple, not we, like I was administration, but there's a schedule, and you have to do every single thing on that schedule. And it means on time, your ass is on the cushion, you're cleaning dishes, you're doing the work. Everyone hated work. And that's how, and it would really shove a lot of people out. They would just leave on their own accord.
Yeah, I think same thing. But also, there were two kinds of people: the people who were working and living inside, like myself, and then there were just visitors, the people who would just come for a day of meditation or some workshops, trainings.
We were pretty. So you had a kind of contrast there, I'm sure. So we were pretty wary. I see this Zen temple was pretty wary about people with mental health issues, especially addiction. And they're just careful with that kind of thing, because people coming in thinking that Zen or spirituality is going to solve their psychological problems, like it's just the answer to everything. Where very traditionally in Zen, it's like saying, well, go see a therapist maybe first, and then kind of, level out, and then see, if you're still yearning for some kind of, something. Would you guys, and then I know places readily take people that have, kind of even schizophrenic kind of tendencies, addictions, and that kind of thing. Would you guys accept, like, we'd really put people through the ringer, at least in these interview processes with the administration, for people who'd come to the temple. And we'd never had more than 5 people at a time, so it wasn't some big place. But would the temple allow these kinds of initiates in willy-nilly?
It really depends, you know. We had all kinds of people.
Yes.
All kinds of people with many problems.
Yes.
And some problems were hidden until they would start to do some training or some workshops, some group, but there were always some kind of a support.
But they would start doing these groups.
Yeah.
Yes.
And actually, in the beginning
we got a little bit of
my
a delay here.
In the beginning of my time in Pune, I was actually working in the information desk. I was inquiring people. We had this kind of list of questions.
Like Julia Roberts.
Yeah, we had this inquiry questions about mental health as well. So some people were very honest, about problems, and some people were still on medication. So we would suggest to do some groups and some not for them, So, and there was always a support system somehow. So if people would have problem, you cannot hide it, you know. So
And would you yes.
we had a very good therapist, you know.
Yes. And I mean,
Very
would
good
you
therapist.
who are the people you just they just would not let in? What kind of situation was that?
Well, the people who would just, because we had certain rules, we had to wear this maroon robe during the day, and then in the evening you had to wear this white robe for the white robe brotherhood meditation.
Okay.
And some people would not follow the rules, you
I
know.
see.
They would wear something different and trying to be different.
All right,
you know?
trying to kind of bring their own personality
yeah, and trying
into
to
it.
be kind of rebellious, and that would not be accepted at all because
Yeah.
it didn't make sense, actually, you know.
What about the community in Pune? Like, how would they perceive you guys at the temple or at the? You said it's a resort, right?
You
That's
say
what guys call
you
it.
mean like the locals in Pune?
Yeah, like the people that aren't participating, that aren't part of the community that you're in. You know, did you feel judged at all? Were they very accepting of it? You know, like how did that play into things?
Well, you know, when I came in 2000, this place was already so famous, you know, since 70s, you know.
Sure.
The
sure.
Indian
I mean,
community really supports gurus. Now.
Yeah, but no, I mean, there were different kind of reactions, you know, and many local people, they benefited so much from this place, you know, because business was just flourishing, you know. We were just supporting actually local businesses, local people. All the rickshaw drivers were so excited, you know. Actually, I never felt hostility from the local people. I never did. The only time when I did something wrong, I went to the city outside this our community, and I was wearing this maroon robe, you know. And in India, only monks are actually wearing this maroon robe, you
Like
know.
a Tibetan
And
monk kind of thing?
Yeah, and locals were looking at me kind of strange, but I like that feeling of provoking people as well, you know.
Sure.
There's a lot in this in this years of being there. Me and other people, we like to provoke. That's
You like
true,
to
you know?
push a little bit, right?
Okay, and that's
A bit. But
Now-
after actually, one older lady, sannyasin, she saw me walking on the streets, you know, and so in a way a bit arrogant, you know.
Sure.
And she came to me and she told me, you know, the rules of our place. You don't go out wearing the robe, you know. You wear it only inside. And somehow I understood, you know, that it's just stupid. It's just stupid. You don't prove anything by just wearing this robe outside the gate, you know.
Sure.
So I mean
Yeah.
that's a big conception or misconception about Osho and Osho's followers. Is definitely the provoking spirit. You know, listen, I'm going to tell you my opinion from coming from Osho, reading one of the best books on relationships I've ever read, totally confirming what I already believe about not relying on your partner for your happiness, but really generating it within yourself from meditation and being alone first and foremost, and then sharing your leftover love, so to speak, with the world so you don't ask for it back. You're building your own tanks of love up. I really love it. It's amazing. And still, and I'm extremely open-minded when it comes to like gurus and things like this. He's in my opinion, Osho is a total rascal. He is absolutely provoking, and I think that's part of it. I want to back this up by saying I don't know what would happen to me if I had hundreds of thousands of followers, if I've obviously had some depth of wisdom and awareness, that just didn't exist. Also convincing other people of it, showing that other people in themselves. I don't know who I'd become. And I guarantee that when I come out of a 7-day retreat and I felt I've awoken, like I see once again that I'm not responsible for other people. I'm completely free. Everything's just coming at me and beaming at me. Just it's happening. I really don't give a shit about a lot of the stuff I used to care about. Big part of that is like not trying to insult people and not trying to, I don't want to make sure I don't, So that is huge. It's such a huge liberation to stop worrying about all that stuff. So I can only imagine. Now I see provocation. I mean, the Rolls Royces. What other cliched famous thing, is there with Osho? But he's poking at people, kind of stirring them up. Is this something? How do you feel about this? Yeah, I don't know what I'm asking. Angel, what am I asking here?
It's that materialism, right? Like you think that these communities are so far beyond the Rolls Royce, the nice, nice clothing, an airplane, this very materialistic things, like for me, when I hear the word ashram or I hear community and things like that, I feel like it's such an escape from all of that, because we're just like, we're clinging to these things that are bullshit in our life. And I mean, that's definitely a question that, something me and Jordan have talked about before is when you see those things, right? You see those things within your community, how are you perceiving it? How are you perceiving those materialistic items, that'll surround someone of a higher stature like that?
Like inside the community, like what is the thought of that?
Well, from my point of view, we were generally working for the community, not making any money, Actually, I was spending all my money,
on food.
But nobody asked me to invest in something.
Sure.
100%.
It was very.
But you see
honest.
this happen. You see this happening. You see this kind of excess, or at least you knew about it because you didn't meet Osho.
Yeah.
What was the? We got to know. I mean, obviously, the opinion outside is,
course.
oh my God. So the opinion inside.
All I can say that whatever you could see, the Osho's, Rolls Royces, and very expensive watches and stuff like that, and airplanes. As I know, nothing was belonging to him. Actually, he lived very simple life, and he was, as I know, he was eating every day very simple food, like dal and rice and some sabji, some vegetables. And he was just enjoying like a kid because many of his disciples, of his sannyasins, wanted to kind of donate to him, to the ashram.
Totally.
And he was just enjoying, but I'm 100% sure that he was not attached to any of this because he didn't need it, He was far beyond that.
I guess
kind of,
that kind of follows
greed,
into,
basically. It's a greed.
100%.
And he was provoking people by not being this kind of a humble guru, with just simple dress. But he was just showing it, the extreme of capitalism,
And what was it? What was that for? What was that provocation for?
I think to make people understand that it's nothing. It doesn't make any sense, and it doesn't have any value. The real value is actually, and he was actually talking about rich and poor people, and he was saying that when you're very poor, the last thing you need is meditation. You need to feed yourself and feed your family. So he was not advocating that in order to be spiritual, you have to be poor,
Right.
And when I just came to this to Osho communities around the world, because I lived also in Osho community in Miami later on, and Boulder, Colorado. And, when I was just inquiring about the Osho world, many spiritual people, they were telling me that, Osho people are so materialistic, and it's a fake spiritualism and
sexual,
blah blah blah, and and sex and rock and roll, but nothing of this. But also, you have to think about your material. How you can. No, it's not expression. If you are not living in the cave, you have to eat, you have to have a shelter.
Yes.
So Osho was not against the world, not against the...
And that's what I will say about Osho, is that you can go, oh my God, look at him. But you hear what he says, just like you said, it's like, dude, a poor person, you're not going to go say a poor person who's starving, you say, oh, don't worry about it, just meditate, kind of. And it's
exactly.
That's not,
exactly.
I mean, it makes complete sense. And in that way, it almost goes, oh yeah, of course, that makes sense. So then you don't have to feel bad for being hungry. Like, oh, I shouldn't be hungry. I should be meditating. It's like, no, go ahead and get the strength to be able to, use this power that the human mind has, which is the power of introspection. But if you're starving, that's all you're thinking about is starving. That's it's impossible. So his words really cut through, and that's what makes him so irresistible.
But also he was also talking about people with money, and
how fucked up it is for them.
Yeah, people with money, and they feel so unhappy,
paranoid.
So then you cannot find happiness in this as well. So,
but is there something in that community that, because I think it's so ingrained in human nature, right? That you're doing really well, and then you have X, Y, and Z thing, and it doesn't necessarily need to be a car or watches or any of that stuff, but just like, say, a room, like, I want to live in a bigger room. That guy gets to live in a bigger room. I want what he has. I just feel that is just a natural thing that humans do, and then you get this jealousy, and then that kind of spoils this beautiful message that you do get. Because I've in a very minimal way, I've heard what Osho says. I've heard these wonderful words, and it makes sense, like, as a human being, I'm like, oh, that's so wonderful. And then that's so beautiful. But then you forget about this, like, small shit that you're just like, well, what if I want to live in a bigger place? Like, do I just say, hey, Osho, I want to live in a bigger place now. Just give me a bigger place to live. And he's just like, well, it doesn't work like that. And it's just like, well, I want that, You
mean in the community? You mean is that
in the community? 100%. It's just like I want bigger and better things for myself as just me. And I know that's a very selfish standpoint, but it's just like, how does that affect? Like, what do you do when you're in those communities? Like, what do you do if you want more?
You go and meditate and just watch your jealousy, watch your judgment, and watch all your stuff, And if in the world, let's say outside the gates of this beautiful community, you can hide yourself under the mask that, no, you are not jealous, you're free of jealousy, or you are not judging, you're a nice person. So in this community, you could not hide it, actually, because everything is just so exposed, And when it's exposed to you as well. You see yourself to be jealous, to be judgmental, to be not the very nice person as you thought you are, And it's very good. So you use that for meditation. You go and meditate.
So what if you want to become the next Osho? Like, what if that's like your your desire. I mean, I know it's a very arrogant thing to say, but it's just like, let's say you want that. You're like, I want to influence people. I want to be this giant ball of love that everyone can depend on and that people can come to me and that I can inspire more people. Is that an egotistic? I mean, when I say it, it sounds egotistical, but is that an egotistical thought to have, to just want to better everything and everyone else? And is it your desire to get rid of that and just be like, no, you shouldn't be thinking that way. You should just be you. And if you are Osho, then you are Osho. If you're not, then you're not.
What do you think?
I think
don't psychoanalyze me.
No, I think there are so many enlightened beings in this world right now, in India and abroad in the West. In America, you have very great alive masters that I am listening to a lot, And do you think they just one day they decided that they want to be a great enlightened masters? I don't think so, And if people desire that, it's coming purely from the ego, for sure,
I remember. This is one of the funniest things. I was going through a very hard time in my life, and I was picking up someone from the airport, and I was going through a lot of introspective things, and I remember seeing this Buddhist monk, and I got really excited, and I ran up to him, and I was like, "Oh, can I talk to you for like 5 minutes?" And he's like, "Yeah, of course." And he spoke pretty good English, and we sat and we chatted, and I was like, "Man, I've thought about so many times in my life just giving it all up, going into a Buddhist temple and just living my life like that." And he's just like, "Oh, well, what are you doing now?" And I was like, "Well, I'm trying to be an actor." He's like, "Oh, well, does that make you happy?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, I love acting." And he's just like, "Why don't you just do that?" And I'm just like, "Well, because it's LA and it's just, it's all about money and bullshit." And he's just like, "Well, listen," he's like, "Do you know why I'm a Buddhist monk?" And I was like, "Why?" And he's like, "'Cause I love being a Buddhist monk. It's what I want out of life." He's like, "You can be a Buddhist and do anything. You can believe in anything and do anything you want if that's what you truly want to do. But don't just go and move to a temple because you think it's the right thing to do." He's like, "Just do what you want to do in life. Just be a good human being about it and you'll be happy." And it kind of bummed me out, but it was the best advice I had ever gotten from anyone in my entire life. It was just, be a good human being. Focus on that, and everything will be fine. But don't lie to yourself. If you want something, want it. It's okay, but just don't go crazy. Always remember.
I'm sorry, Angel. We have to take a commercial break. I'm sorry.
Go for it.
That was a joke.
Go for it. Sure.
Very nice, Angel. Very nice. So, I mean, would you still thinking about being a Buddhist monk? You still think about that?
I think about throwing it all away every once in a while, but now less and less because I have my daughter. It's like, what am I going to do? I have a kid. I'm responsible for another life.
Right.
But it's an appealing idea. It's such a sexy idea. It's just like, just living life, enjoying life for what it is, because everything just seems like a joke. Like I'm just like, I pay rent, I pay for bills, I do all these things, and it just seems like I'm wasting time. Like, wouldn't it be great to just like wander somewhere and explore and be like, "Oh, that's something I've never seen before. That's awesome. I'm going to go look at that for like an hour," and then walk away. The only thing I have to do is eat, sleep, pee, and shit. That's it. Right? Like, that's the only things I have to do.
Wherever you go, there you are. I've been wandering a long time. Wherever you go, there you are.
I love this shit too. Look at this like microphone. Look at the place I'm in. Like I
know.
I do suffer from enjoying the materialistic things that just give me like this temporary joy, and it sucks because I feel guilty for enjoying it, and I still don't know how to. I'm still trying to figure out how to deal with that every day.
That's rough, man. That's it. You get wrapped up in your own judgments about your judgments about your judgments. You know,
it's a never-ending hole.
Like I said, what do you think about that? What do you think about? Should I? What was your question again about that?
Should I just throw it all away and go and be in a temple?
Right, and then you're feeling bad for enjoying your life, and I mean that's really what all this stuff is about. We're on our backs so much about all of this stuff. We're on our own case about simply enjoying life.
You know what's funny
sorry,
is the one thing that I attribute to not doing that, my daughter, is also the one thing that brings me the most joy, because when she's here and I talk to her and she sits and she laughs and she just has this time, it's totally natural. We could be living in squalor and I could be in the worst financial, and she is so unaware of all of that shit. And she's just naturally having this wonderful moment with me and her, and she's just enjoying life. And it just brings me to that realization that no matter what situation you're in, you can literally let that shit go. And you can just enjoy something and be natural and just be true to yourself. That's the best you can do. You know, sometimes you're going to fall in that pit and you're going to fuck up and you're going to be materialistic and you're going to be stupid. But then you just have to realize that you're doing it, and then just forget it, dude. Just enjoy, just put a smile on your face and enjoy life, because what else is there?
India, how can Angel do this? How can Angel wants to, he's obviously speaking the truth here. How can he do this, India?
Well, you know, I'm sure that if it's your destiny to live the materialistic life and go to live in the Buddhist temple, ashram, then it will happen. You know, you don't have to be. Have to think about it.
But he is thinking about it, and he is confused, and he goes back and forth. What can Angel do right now? What can he do right now?
To ask himself why he's not enjoying his life as it is, because he's in the right place. Everyone is in the right place right now. And maybe your child, your daughter, right?
But he doesn't realize that. He doesn't realize he's in the right place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't realize.
How old is your daughter?
She's 3.
Yeah. So that's the time when kids are really living the truest expression of themselves, you know, because they are not programmed yet, and they live in the moment, you know. And if you start to live in the moment more without fantasizing how your life could be, then you will enjoy more. That's my answer.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like telling a depressed person, though, just be happy. You know, or you know what I do when I'm depressed? I just think of good things. You know, and it doesn't really help. You know, it just doesn't really. These are
it's
universal.
Not the same.
Right, but I mean, these are universal truths. What you're saying is true, but the problem is that's exactly the problem is we don't see it that way. A person who's, and I'm not saying I'm saying no, that's bullshit. I'm saying that's the problem. So instead of just saying you are in the perfect moment, this is exactly everything's happening right now, and people go, yeah, but you know, then what? That's really always my question. That's in how I'm trying to like approach helping people is, okay, they want that. They want that realization. They want to see life this way, right? And they want to do, and obviously doing something gets in the way of seeing it. So it's like, it's ironic and it's an oxymoron. It's dualistic. But what, like for you, you moved to a temple. You know, what can Angel do in his life right now? And if you don't have any suggestions, I understand. But what can he do?
Maybe he can ask himself what you really want in your life. What do you want, you know? Because I didn't have a choice. You know, I just knew I have to go to India and no matter what, even if I didn't have money at that moment, life would provide, I was so sure that what I'm doing is just.
And how were you feeling right before you had that calling? How were you feeling? How was your mental, psychology, emotional? How were you?
I was confused. I didn't know what to do.
Was it very
with
deep?
My life?
Was it very profound and intense, or was it just kind of a general I'm confused?
No, it was very, very profound and intense. Yeah, I was very unhappy.
Exactly.
Very unhappy.
So you had to go through something to finally make you go, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for this, right?
Yeah. You have to be very unhappy, I think, to change the way you see yourself in life. If you're kind of like, you're okay here, but you want something else.
Right.
First of all, you really stop judging, and what this monk told you, enjoy your life, enjoy your material. Anyway, it's a game.
Totally.
It's a game.
You just haven't gone through enough shit, man.
Oh.
Hey,
but I don't wish you, Angel, to.
Who said I wish? Who said I wish? I don't know.
I don't know, Jordan. I don't know.
No, I think I've gone through my fair share of shit. I just don't think that what is the answer for you is the answer for me.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean that with all due respect. Are you
saying to me? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, either or to either one of you. I think that's that's the truth that I got from that conversation with that monk, is that I look at him and I say, he's got it together. He doesn't have fear. He doesn't have this want or need for things that I wish I didn't. But at the same point, I was so turned around. Like my life totally fell apart, and I went to South America thinking, I'm just going to change. I'm going to change the person I am. I'm going to change my environment, and being in a different country, this is going to resolve all these issues that I have with the United States and the things that I have here. Maybe it's just central to my location, and my life got worse. It got way worse. And then I went to school, and I got my shit together, and I ended up in a pretty good spot. I mean, I don't know I still probably don't know what I'm looking for as a final answer, but I guarantee you, I'm still scared. I'm still a very scared person, and I want that to get better. But I don't think going to an ashram is going to fix that. I don't think sitting and meditating every single day is going to fix that. I think if I go to the ashram, I'm just going to find another community that I'm going to look at and be like, well, this isn't perfect, so I don't want to do this anymore, and I'm going to move on to something else.
But how do you feel about all this? You're fine with this?
I kind of accept it as I'm human, There's just
then good.
This is just how I'm choosing to do my existence. But
there you go.
But I want more.
I
want to get better. I want to get better.
Angel,
I want more.
Angel, can I tell you something?
Please be honest.
That was my opinion as well when I came to the ashram, and I went to other places like some Buddhist meditation centers. I was thinking that they got it, they got the recipe of happiness, they don't have fear, and they're not scared of life, and they don't have judgment. They're so perfect, but it's not truth. It's our projection. As I think, as soon as we have this human form, it's very human to doubt ourselves, and be scared of life. So it's very human. So I think we all have to embrace that, our
Can I ask where are you
human
now?
condition.
Like you're not in the ashram anymore.
No. I'm in my own ashram. I created my own ashram here. I'm in Latvia. It's a very little country in the north of Europe. It's very little, very small country, very beautiful.
And are you
Very
happy?
cold. Yes, I am. Because I am living the life I want. I don't allow anyone to decide for me. I decide my life. How I cannot be happy if I decide to live my life the way I want. Always. Since I took Osho initiation, since I took sannyas initiation, I'm doing what I want, you know.
Then I'm happy for you.
I'm not compromising. You know?
How is it with your friends? Do you move through, like, okay, so you came back after 8 years, and you're kind of I mean, obviously you must have. Could you have left the temple within that, or sorry, left the resort within that 8 years? You can leave and come back as you please, kind of thing, or how did that work?
I left the place. Which place?
So the resort in Pune, you could leave and go home for the holidays, things like this, or were you just?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You could go around, and meanwhile, in those 8 years, I went to America.
Mm-hmm.
I lived, as I mentioned before, I lived in 2 Osho communities in Boulder and Miami.
Okay.
And then I came back. I went back to Pune. Yeah, total freedom. No, not. There were no condition to.
So you would meet people that you knew before who were not into this kind of thing.
Not anymore, actually.
Okay, yeah.
My friends changed very much, you know. So the old friends we were not meeting anymore, you know.
Yes.
There was no, somehow, we were not crossing each other's path anymore, you know.
I see. Yeah.
So my life changed, my friends changed. Of course, in the beginning, in those 8 years, I was mostly surrounded by sannyasins, Osho sannyasins. And I was also a little bit kind of differentiating, you know.
Yes. Yeah,
sannyasins and
kind of
not
separating
sannyasins.
yourself. Yes.
Yeah, but I think that
Segregating. Yes.
Yeah, but I think it was just a time of kind of adjust, you know.
Sure. It's almost like
Adjust and
coping mechanisms, you know, to kind of
coping, and also making the bridge in between the spiritual and material world.
Yes.
You know?
That's always very difficult for me, getting out of retreats. Again, you're 8 years. It's a different thing.
Yeah.
But really integrating that into my normal life with all my friends and all the problems that I wanted to solve, you know, and now I come back with this wisdom, and I think I can solve all these problems now, which actually some of them get solved, but then others just suck you right back.
Yeah.
Did you go through that?
Well, many times. Many times.
Yes.
I couldn't stand everything from the material world. I couldn't stand it. I was judging it very much, you know.
I see. Yes.
But it changed.
Yes.
It changed. I had to kind of re-enter that world, you know.
Yes. And so
now
yes.
I don't see this difference anymore.
What made you want? That's amazing, by the way, and that's very freeing. In fact, you know, it really that ego stays with us in so many secret, sneaky ways, you know, and really, that's part of the fun. Actually, is continuing to shine light on those parts. I know I'm getting a little funny now, but this is what I believe: shine lights on those part of ourselves, and coming out of that darkness as this ever blooming, ever growing process, and it never ends. And it's actually really awesome, because every time you as I say, shine light and bloom, you're blooming more and more, and it's like, I can see now. Oh, I see now, and that really seems to never end. There's always some little nook, you know, that you can shine light on and just kind of free yourself from. So that's great. That's great. I hope you agree with what I don't know. But when did you decide to leave? What made you finally say, okay, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get out of this situation?
From Pune or from India?
From India, from Pune, from being a residential sannyasin, or even like heavily day program kind of thing.
Yeah. I was so much in love with that place, with the community. It was also a very safe place, and you just have this feeling that everybody understands you. You are on the same page, and you can share a lot. You have a lot of support, You felt like you were really supported and safe, And then something happened. I don't remember exactly what, but I think they wanted me to assist in some groups, in some breath group. It's very intense. It's like very cathartic.
I've done that. It's gnarly.
Yeah,
gnarly.
And actually, I said no, because I felt like, no, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Because at that time I was already leading my own workshops and I studied to be therapist, in this mystery school in Osho commune, and I studied meditation and hypnosis and yoga. So I didn't feel like going into some group as an assistant and go through this catharsis again. So I didn't feel like, I felt like, no, I don't want to do it,
Yeah.
Again, this rebellious spirit, And I think somebody didn't like it. And they said, then maybe you take a break, from this place.
What?
Yeah.
After 8 years, they had you take a break?
Unbelievable.
Well, yeah, because actually, there are certain rules that you have to
Kind of do
follow
what they say.
if you want to live and work in this community,
Oh my god.
You feel like you
And-
just outgrew it, or
In a way. Yeah. It was a very right time to go out and spread actually Osho's teachings, not just to scream about it, but just by sharing what I learned, I was very excited again because it was a new stage in my life. I was going into the big world again, and
Back to the marketplace.
Yes, and very insecure in the beginning because I didn't know how to communicate, and my vocabulary changed very much, Now I was India, and I knew this new kind of a way of expressing yourself, and normal people would be kind of feeling weird about me, maybe,
sure.
Yeah.
So I had to learn again how to be in the world, but not to be of the world, not to belong, and not to buy
very
again
difficult.
all the. I wouldn't say it was so difficult. It was.
It's tricky. It's
Yeah, but at the same time, it was very. You know what you learn in Osho world, in Osho commune? To be total, I don't know how to explain that, but even when you have fear, you go through it, Nothing can stop you really,
You don't try to lie to yourself and say, "Oh, this isn't happening.
Yes.
I'm not afraid."
Yeah.
If you're afraid,
No.
be afraid.
Yeah, you are afraid, but you are still going through it, You're going through your fear, and you become much more courageous somehow, and much more truthful, in the world as well. Even when people don't accept you or don't like you, it doesn't kill you anymore. you know.
Even when you're hungover?
It's okay. That one is difficult. Actually, when I was in the Osho resort, meditation resort, I was hardly drinking anything because you lose this kind of because you're so high naturally.
For sure.
All the time, every day, you know, that you lose this interest. I remember after maybe some years drinking one beer, sharing one beer with my best girlfriend.
Yeah.
She lives in New York.
Yeah.
And we got we had such a bad hangover next day from half a bottle of beer. And then we said, you know what? It doesn't work.
I had
It's
one
not worth
shot.
it,
I had
you know?
one shot yesterday. One shot. And I can't tell you how good I feel when I'm not drinking like 10 days after. I'm just like, I had one shot and some layers of bad news. And just like, you know, like, man.
No,
and
I
it's so
think-
hard to like, at the moment too, to just be like, okay, I'm going to meditate. Oh, I'm going through this, you know, I'm just feel this.
But I think if you drink some good wine sometimes, it's okay, you know?
Sure. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Why not?
Absolutely. Let me ask you this. What were the rules there? Could you have sex with someone, get in a relationship with someone on campus in Pune?
Like in the open?
I mean, I get not like in the field,
Like
but I mean,
hold hands and walk around.
well, no, just
Of course.
Okay,
Of
okay.
course.
I see. And you could go in each other's rooms and things like this.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah,
Why not?
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
No, it's not this typical
Sure.
Hinduist ashram where men and women had to be separate, you know, from
Yeah,
each
sure.
other. Like that's why I choose Osho.
Sure. What about?
Because there were no because you know before I went to Buddhist centers,
Yes.
before I came to Osho,
Yes.
I went to Buddhist centers, I went to some Hinduist kind of centers, you know, and nothing was feeling like it didn't feel like it's honest somehow, you know, and
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I belonged there, you know, because there are so many restrictions, you know,
I think
and
that's a lot of the
suppression.
yes,
and
exactly.
suppression, you know?
I think that's a suppressor. I think that's a lot of problem that people have on the outside with the Osho community is because even people, I hate it when people say this to me. They say, "Oh," because they know I'm a Zen Buddhist. They go, "Oh, Jordan, that's not a very Buddhist thing to do." I mean, I don't hate it obviously, but it's like that's not a very Buddhist thing to do. And like I say, it's like saying, well, that's not a very karate thing to do, or you know, that's not a very ping pong player thing to do.
Yeah,
You know,
but
it's
because
just
we have, we
it's-
project,
Right,
our points of view
right.
to anything, to anyone.
Right. Yeah. And
You
so,
know?
and I think that's a lot of people's problem with it. And then that's also the huge welcoming benefit of something like this is because you realize, like I say, I'm one of the people who say, oh, they're ecstatic dancing and they're doing all this, you know. But once you realize it's okay, you go, yes, you know, thank God I'm free of that bullshit, you know, of that total suppressing. Like, oh, you know, I don't want to ask her out. Oh, she doesn't want people to ask her out. You know, things like this. When guys realize they can be attracted to women, you know, and just be like, oh, it's okay. You know, it's a huge thing. Huge. Oh my God,
But
I'm
you
losing
know-
both of you now. Yes, please.
You know, I just want to mention one thing about Osho commune, Osho resort, that, you know, when you're in the beginning, you're so happy to express yourself, you know.
Yes.
It's all about expressing yourself in meditation, in some groups, therapy groups, you know.
Yes.
You're kind of taking out layers and layers of conditioning, you know.
Yes.
And finally you feel like you're free to express yourself. But this is really only the beginning, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's
yes.
not Osho's teachings were not about expressing yourself, really. It's
Right.
just, it's really step one. you
Now
know?
the mind.
And
Now the
then-
mind is open for the next.
Yeah, but then you have to, when you become more and more aware, then certain things you just don't want to do, you don't want to impress anyone, you don't want to express yourself anymore.
Right.
You lose that interest. It's childish,
Totally. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, what was kind of the biggest problem? Like, what were the biggest rule breakers people were doing over there, if I might ask? We're running out of time a little bit, but I did want to get into it, just a little bit of this.
Well, I think the people who were working there were skipping some meditations, and that was...
Yes.
If you are living in this place, you are there for meditation.
Yes.
Otherwise, why would you go to live there?
Yes.
Yes. So I think that was...
were there drug problems, drinking problems, anything like that? People sneaking away and partying, things like this? Or is that pretty
we had parties in the evenings. We had very good DJs. We danced a lot.
Drinking?
Not much. I didn't see really drunk people. And if you had to drink or do drugs, I think you could do it outside. At least I didn't see it much,
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So what were the rules, basically? Show up on time to the required practice. Do your work if you're living there and working. What were the rules, some of the other rules there they had? Not much.
Not much. You had to evolve, actually.
Yeah.
In those years,
Sure.
You had to evolve.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you.
And all the environment was in the support of your growing consciously, So if somebody would just stay the same, like some guys were chasing the girls all the time.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And not meditating, not be interested in meditation.
Sure.
So they would be asked to leave.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or not respecting the place.
Right.
Okay.
And so I want to ask you this, and I just want to get your reaction to it. What do you have you seen the documentary Wild Wild Country?
Yeah, I was in Rishikesh actually 2 years ago. Yeah.
What did you think of that?
Well,
I just want to say this, number one. I don't think really Osho had much to do with anything, but just kind of what was going on.
At all. But when I saw it, I cried a lot. Mm-hmm. I was very emotional. I was very touched, actually, by all this. I think it was a very beautiful, a very courageous dream, and I could see both sides somehow. I never thought I could understand those Americans in Oregon.
Yes, sure.
The local people,
Sure, yeah.
But somehow I could
very American.
see.
Yes.
Yeah, but I could see the other side of the gates, and I could see the way it was going. It could not coexist,
How did you feel about that side?
I felt sad. I think.
I see.
I think many mistakes.
Yeah. No, I was watching. You felt sad.
I was very sad. Yeah, I was very sad for both, because people were working so much inside the Osho commune to make that place. To make that place like oasis, and
sure.
Yeah.
I totally get that, because it's weird. Their mindset is so positive and just like, oh, we're doing this amazing great thing, and you almost want to just share it with everyone. But the problem is that none of the people I think in that community were wanting were accepting of it. So it's just like, it's almost like they feel like, oh, these people are trying to jam it down our throats, and they're coming at them just like, oh, come on, this is so wonderful. We want you to have such a great life with us. And everyone's like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm fine. Get the hell away from me. And
well,
And that's
I
a
think
problem in a
it was
lot
the
of...
biggest problem, but now I can see that the communities, the spiritual communities like ashrams, they have to really respect the community outside, and really not to provoke them, actually, to respect their beliefs, even if you don't agree with their beliefs, you have to respect them. That's the sign of a real spirituality, I think,
Can you tell me if at the time, 2000 to 2008, obviously the documentary had not come out, and this is the last question I'll ask about the documentary. Did the, I can't remember that kind of villain of the documentary. Do you remember her name? She was kind of...
Mashila,
Did she have any kind of reputation over there, or was there anything known about anything? Okay.
Very bad reputation. Very bad.
Okay, even before this. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
She was kind of ousted from the... Wow. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I was curious about that. That's all.
Yeah, very manipulative. Very...
Wow.
I think maybe even not conscious about what she was doing. Very fanatic, in a way.
Some kind of
yeah, for sure. Amazing.
That's my fear of that stuff, is just, you get to that point and again, you just allow these snakes because you're so welcoming and you're so warm.
And even Osho, being so close.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like, you have someone that's saying all these wonderful and beautiful things, and he's just so open, and he's so willing to let people come in. And if you get someone, it's just so easy when you're that loving of a person to invite someone in that's just like, oh, he doesn't even see what I can do to make a whole bunch of money. It just welcomes those people to take advantage. That's why, one of my first questions was, did you ever see people like that? And it's almost like she is a perfect example of that. It's so easy to sneak into a community of people that are so willing to be like, oh, come, I don't care where you've come from. Yeah, come in. We'll ask you some questions. You'll work. You'll be amongst people that love you. But then their mindset is just really they're lying to you, and your mindset is just like, well, if they're lying, that's on them. It's not really on me. But then they damage you, and it's just like, oh my God, what has this person done?
Yeah, unfortunately, there will be always this kind of people, You cannot protect yourself. But even in your life, you don't have to go to the ashram to meet this kind of people.
Oh, no, you don't. Yeah, they're everywhere.
You can be in the world
Jim
and
Jones.
meet this kind of people, and then...
But this is what kind of sucks about life, right? Is that you can take this one of two ways, and I really do. I swear to God, I try to preach this to myself: is that those people will always exist, so I don't need to worry about them. There's a certain amount of protection I need to have of myself to not allow them to take advantage of me. But what I think sucks, and what happens to most of the world, is that you get these people, they come into your life, they poison you, and then you become so protective to just try to avoid them that you end up pushing everyone and everything else out, because you're just like, the best way to protect myself is to almost be a jerk about it. You can't be this genuine person that you want to be. And it breaks my heart.
That's a very interesting question.
I really feel that happens.
Yeah.
Just to keep people away, you have to kind of, like a bitch shield.
Yeah.
And it changes you.
It changes you. But then if you keep going, if you keep inquiring,
Inquiring inside. inside yourself.
Yes, nobody can really damage you, you know.
Yes. The soul cannot be stained.
Nobody can damage you, you know.
Sure.
It can damage your personality,
Yes.
but of course, you know, so many people come to the ashram who were abused in the childhood in many ways, you know, sexually, psychologically, and many horrible things. And those people are actually, they're much faster to open up and to be
Vulnerable.
yeah, but not only vulnerable, but those people are much more faster to transform their lives, you know.
You know, I 100% agree with, because that's how I've allowed myself to be okay with everything. Like anything that's negative that's happened to me, I'm just not afraid to talk about it with anybody. If you ask me any question, I'll answer it honestly. Like I'll always answer you honestly. I'll be like, yeah, this is what happened. This is how I felt. It sucked, but it's so therapeutic. It's the most therapeutic thing in the world, is to just not allow yourself to hold any of that in to anyone. You know, someone just asks you a question. I mean, obviously there's always a within reason, but for the most part, if you're just having a genuine conversation and someone asks you something honestly, answer them honestly. Don't be afraid. Like, be like, no, this happened to me. This was the thing. Like, and I got through it, and here I am. I got a smile on my face, cup of tea in my hand. I'm good.
But you know what I noticed by living and working in that place, in Osho resort, that the people who suffered most, you know, and had such horrible circumstances in their life, they're much more loving, much more compassionate, you know, much more human, much more spiritual, you know. So nothing can break our heart, really.
Yes.
You know.
It is something you realize going through this, and it's a huge relief, is everyone talks about, yes, but I have a special condition. I went through this, and I have special suffering and special problems. But you realize that this Brahman, central, whatever, Atman, source, you, the true I, it really isn't ultimately affected by that stuff. It's suggestible to it, but it's not, like I say, stained, you know. And that's a lovely realization, a lovely, lovely, lovely realization, you know.
But it doesn't come immediately to you, you know. This is a bit, it's a bit up there, you know, this this realization. Yeah. Before you go to that, you know, when I came to Osho Resort, I went through many therapies, you know.
Yeah.
To remember and clean that stuff, and many of us don't even remember what happened to us in our childhood, you know. So you uncover those wounds and you heal them with meditation, and you heal them with meditation, you know. Yeah. And then you are not with broken heart, you are with broken open heart, you know. It's very different. You are not a victim anymore.
Open. Yeah.
Yes.
You know, something about this, like I say, having people close to you who are manipulative, and even Osho was fooled. I would say that really makes, I find it endearing that Osho was fooled by this person, if that was the case, because it really shows that the human... It shows that nobody's infallible. No one is God. No one is absolutely freaking perfect. And that he is human just as us. And it shows an innocence there as well, you know, to see that someone who's so close could be so manipulative and deceptive, you know. And to me, I don't know. I find it quite positive. I find it a nice thing for some reason. I don't know.
Well, it's humanizing, right? Like it's
for some reason he allowed her to be there, but sure. I am not sure he was aware, because he was also for some time he was in silence, and he was not really
wasn't
going
aware.
out of his room, you know.
No.
So I'm not sure how much he knew about her manipulations, you know.
I don't think he. No, I don't think he
And
knew.
yeah, anyway,
So let me say this. I want to wrap up here, but I want to give Osho the last word here. I want to ask you. I'm sorry, I had to move my phone. I had silly notes over here. Let me ask you this: What is it about Osho, he's gained the following? I mean, it's huge. I mean, it's huge. This following. What makes him different from like lineages, like large lineages from, say, like Amma, the hugging saint, or even Jesus Christ in Christianity? What has Osho really got that I guess for you made it at the time or now? Really the thing that says, okay, this is who I'm going to listen to. This is what it is. What has he got? What's his thing? You know, what is he bringing to us?
you know, he included everything. He didn't exclude anything, you know. His teaching were including the Buddha and the Zorba. So the celebration of life, material life, enjoyment of life, and a meditation together, you know. So he didn't exclude anything. He was not telling you, in order to be spiritual, you have to give up this and this and that, yeah. And he was incredibly charismatic, you know, and very advanced, I think. And amazing. And then you just find he was the right master for me, you know. And for someone needs Amma, you know. And someone needed Sai Baba at that time, you know. Some people were going to Sai Baba. But they say that, you know, when the disciple is ready, the master appears. So he appeared. And for me, he was very revolutionary, actually, inside the spirituality.
Awesome. Okay, well, listen, I think we're going to wrap it up here. That was fantastic. Again, India, thank you very much for coming. Yay. See, we got through it. Not too much controversy, not too much like, We did good. I think we did pretty good here.
I don't know if I mentioned that I really fell in love with Osho, you know. And only when you fell in love with your master, with your teacher, with your guide, then something can really transform in you.
Sure.
That's my feeling, you know.
Yeah, like those who have ears will listen.
It's a heart-to-heart relationship.
Yes, even posthumously. Amazing.
Definitely. I felt him so present, and until today, every day, he is very present in my life, you know.
Well, guys, now you've heard it. You've heard it straight from the sannyasin's mouth. You can't say anything to anybody about nothing because you've heard the real story here. So hopefully we've given you some insight and some clarity to this Rajneesh character, you know. I love that he's full of controversy. I actually love it, you know. There was a time I thought he was a charlatan and all this stuff, but I mean, you can't help but just be blown away by the clarity and reality and the sense that he makes when he talks about stuff. And like you said, all-inclusive, you know?
All-inclusive.
I mean, that whole thing about being poor. A poor person doesn't need meditation. I mean, come on, that makes a lot of sense there. So that's his style. That's how it goes. And I really hope that she's helped you get the straight story here, you know? And what can I say? I think you've done a great job. Thank you very much, India, for joining us.
Thank you for
today.
inviting me.
Thank you so much, India.
Very
That
much.
was awesome.
We did it.
Thank you.
I want to give you the opportunity to let people know what you're doing in your life, or if you have anything you'd like to invite people to join you in, including your contact information. Do you have anything happening in your life that you want to share with people right now in terms of?
I'm doing very normal life right now. I'm married in Latvia, in Riga, And I created my own ashram
Yeah.
inside my house,
Great.
and I have a studio, meditation and yoga studio. And I love what I do, I really enjoy every day of my life, because
Yes.
every lesson, it's a pure joy,
Are you
I'm never
inviting?
bored.
Are you teaching people? Are you inviting people to join you with this in any way?
Yeah. We have yoga classes and meditations. And then I also invite people to come with me to India. So I bring a little group to Goa every year because it's warm, and it's tropical and people can have fun as well. It's more like Osho way, to meditate and have fun as well. So we meditate, we do yoga in a very beautiful resort in Mandrim, Goa, Jivaeva resort. And we have fun. We go to the concerts, we go to the party. We don't drink much because we meditate. We start to meditate in the morning, but it's enough. It's enough fun and excitement without drinking, actually.
What and how can people get in touch with you if they want to contact and maybe ask you about these?
Well, they probably can go to my Facebook account, India Jivaeva, or to my website, which is rightbalance.eu. .eu. Yeah.
Okay, for European Union, everybody. So I will include those in the description if anyone would like to get a hold of it. And India, what is going on? What is that in your hand you have there? What have you been playing with this whole time?
It's Osho Mala. I received it when I got this sannyas initiation, sannyas celebration day, one summer day in Italy. When I got this name, India.
And that's the one you got.
That's the one I got. Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay, so she's still this whole time Osho in her hands, or in the hands of Osho, perhaps. Potato. There you go.
I went to different masters, and now I have other masters in my life who are in the body, who I can go to and drink the wisdom from the sages, this amazing sages, and I can ask the question.
So Osho's not jealous about this?
I don't think so.
No.
I think he was actually mentioning, when I'm gone, find somebody who can, who can support you, who can answer your questions.
Keep it going.
Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful. I love it. You are beautiful. Look at her. She's beautiful, folks. I promise you. If you haven't seen this video of wonderful India talking about this incredibly mysterious and enlightening man, you can check it out on YouTube at the channel Bravely Mistaken, and see it in all its full form. India, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been fantastic. And hey, maybe we can get on next time about your current master. We can get going with that, maybe.
Why not? Thank
Wonderful.
you very much, guys.
Awesome.
Thank you for being also kind.
Cool.
And
Okay, good.
not asking me difficult questions.
Thank God. Thank God you think this. Thank you. All right, India.
You're very kind.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you so much, dear. All right, my dear. All right, India, farewell. We will see you again.
Take care, India.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye, darling.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Unbelievable. Angel. My goodness, God.
Well,
my goodness.
She's just such a sweet, sweet person.
What do you think, man? I mean, what do you think's going on here with, give me your impressions. Osho, before and after. Talk to me here.
I kind of just have the same opinion as I did before.
Okay, and what's that?
It's a community. It's just how you're choosing to perceive and go about life. I think that I think his message is great. It works for me. But at the end of the day, there's still structure. There's still, hey, you have to do this. We have to do this. Because it's just a community of people, and people are people, and we're all going to need certain things. And we're all going to have to do certain things to get by. We can't just all sit in the hills and meditate all day and then expect things to come to us. There's some harsh realities in life that you have to endure, and then you have to do. But I think it's positive. I think it's great.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's
What
great.
about Osho the man before and after?
Oh man. I don't know. That it's so hard. That documentary really does shade you a little bit.
Man. It's he had a reputation before, just the way he talks and just the way he he talks like this.
Here's the thing.
You have to breathe very naturally. He talks this very slow, and then the documentary came, and it's just like shit.
I think, and doing the people that follow Osho justice, I think it's okay to say this. I think that no matter what opinion you have of him as a man, right, as a human being, I think you cannot negate the positive things that he did say. I think no matter what it is, if you think that he was a very materialistic, manipulative person, it's just like, okay, well, that's your opinion, and I can't change it, but you cannot negate that the guy did definitely have some very positive and beautiful things to say, and that he did help people.
Yeah.
And
what do you think of the Rolls Royces?
The Rolls Royces. I get it. I guess I think I understand a little bit that more invoking a reaction from people thing. But I just want to know, if I was part of that community, if I said, hey, can I just take that baby out, for a Saturday night? I'll bring it back.
One of them. One for each foot.
One for each foot.
You're gonna go Rolls roller skating.
Just let me borrow the damn car, Osho. If he would have let me do it, I think I would have been a little bit chiller about
Rolls are skating. Okay. I'm not going to say the joke anymore. Okay, well, I know there's not much to say. Yeah, and it got a little sticky there with the whole, Oh, by the way, I was never imposing that you haven't been through. I'm saying one in general.
Oh, I took it as me.
Hasn't been through enough.
I took it as me.
Well, of course you did. But no, that
you.
includes you. But I know. Who the hell knows? And everyone gets into what works for you and what doesn't. I actually have very contentious views on that, what works for this person, that. I have a pretty universal thing about, obviously you know this about me, about what works for people. I think very few things work for everybody, I think. Meaning there are a few things that will work for everybody. But yeah, anyway. That got a little sticky. That was a little fun, though. That's typically a lot when you're doing these spiritual discussions, like in India and stuff like this. That happens a lot. You get really contentious with people about methods and things like this. It could get quite interesting.
Well, see, but
deadly.
That's awesome. That's the awesome thing. You're supposed to. I think you're supposed to question. You're supposed to challenge.
There you go.
If anything that I have grown a little bit more respect for after this is the fact that I felt that she was saying that. She was saying it's not this restrictive thing, this restrictive practice. You're supposed to question, and I love that. I don't really consider it a religion, but if I'm comparing it, it's one of the things that I love. It just doesn't feel restrictive. I can question. It's okay to question. It's okay to debate. It's okay to argue. You just have to come from a place of love and understanding and wanting to grow, and it's going to be great. As long as
you can be Joe Rogan. You can be Joe Rogan. I'll be Jordan Peterson. I agree with you completely.
Sure, man.
Well, we done it. We did it. I think we did good. Okay, Angel, thank you very much. How you doing these days? You got anything going on in your life you want people to know about?
No, man, I'm taking a break. After everything that's going on, I'm just trying to breathe a little bit.
Red Dead Revolver 2.
Red Dead Redemption.
God damn it!
Revolver's a different game, Jordan.
But they still, I realize the thing that's the same about Red Dead Revolver and Red Dead Redemption is they have that dink, 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 that little cross.
Oh, yeah.
Go, bah, 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 bah. That's from Red Dead Revolver, I think. Who cares? Gives a shit.
We'll posse up. We'll get it done.
I hope to God my fucking mic hasn't been too hot. Has my mic been hot this whole time? It's just
No,
Yeah.
I haven't.
I'm peeking like every word out of my mouth.
Yeah,
How did I do? Did I seem miserable this whole time? Did I do all right?
No, you seemed good. In
Sure
the
about that?
beginning,
Don't.
in the beginning,
Okay.
it was a little rough because I think you knew so much about the subject matter
With the interview.
with the interview.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if you're, that's what I thought you were.
Go on. No, go on. Keep going.
Now I feel like I've dug myself this hole.
Don't pull back. Don't pull back. Okay.
No, you just. I was like, you've obviously talked to her before. You've obviously talked about this subject matter before.
Oh yeah.
And I was just like, don't be biased.
Well,
Don't
that's
be
why.
biased. Challenge.
Biased
it.
about what? Oh yeah, right. Challenge her. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate you pulling me out of asking these questions because I have been through this shit. Not 8 years once again, but yeah, I would call myself a layman, but you're a layman, man.
Oh yeah,
and
100%.
I appreciate you pulling us back to the beginner's mind kind of about it because I can forget how familiar it is to me and not to someone else. So I appreciate that, buddy. So you ain't got nothing going on, nothing you want to plug?
That's what I want to plug. Buy
Okay.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare. It's a great game.
There you go, man. The big reveal. How can people get a hold of you, buddy?
You can get a hold of me on social media, LinkedIn. I'll shoot out my email address, my personal email address. I never mind doing that. It's angeljorlando at gmail.com.
Ooh, that's valuable property, man. Be careful. I don't know.
No, hey, fire it up.
All right, we'll include that. If you want to, I don't know, just say hi to Angel and compliment him on his raspy on his angelic voice. Buddy, thank you very much. I'm going to say goodbye.
Always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you.
And we'll see you again, obviously. And for me, this is Jordan O'Leary. You can see the video of this interview and this post talk on YouTube if you haven't already. And if you want to listen to the beginning of the podcast, which is not included in the video, you can go to Bravely Mistaken at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts. If you have an idea for the show and you'd like me to interview someone who has some kind of misunderstood take on life, profession, hobby, culture, I don't know, whatever, gender, anything like this, let me know in the comments of YouTube or leave a review on iTunes. And yeah, I'll have some kind of way to get in touch with me once the show's out. We made it. Woo! I'm going to bring you back, Angel. We made it. 5 episodes. Woo! Yeah, 5 episodes for this. And I think this will be the 5th episode. See you later, Angel. And we will see you again next week with a new one, and we're going to come at you every week with a new show. And so if you like the show, you know what to do. Come on, man. We're almost there, 2020. I don't need to tell you how to support the show, but you can like and subscribe and share and do all that fun stuff. I'm Jordan O'Leary. I'm out of here. Thank you from Bravely Mistaken. And remember, I like you.